Good morning, everybody. I'm sorry for the delay. I'm actually having a little tutorial on our new soundboard. So, again, good morning, everyone. You are listening to CMC Live on Hawk Live Radio, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. I'm your host, Prodigal, and welcome to the show. I hope everyone had a great week so far. No drama, just peace. My birthday finally came around, and when I tell you I had so much fun, I had a surprise birthday party, and then I had some delicious cake from Publix. Then I had nothing bundt cake. I had the Reese's Oreo truffle, and Lord, it was so good. I enjoyed every minute of it, and I wish it didn't end. Shout out to my partner and family for celebrating me, and I appreciate the love. I love you all so much. Last week we ended off with some hot topics and segments, so coming up we're going to kick things off for our starter tune, What's Poppin' in Tampa. But first, let's play some HGC tunes. All right, everybody, that was the famous Michael Jackson with ABC. You are listening to CMC Live on Hawk Live Radio, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. Welcome back to the show, everybody. As always, you know our lingo with what's popping in Tampa. I try to give you insight on what's going on in our city so you don't have to miss out or be bored throughout the weekend. Visit TampaBay.com. Always advertise the cool events and spooky stuff to keep you guys entertained this month. So coming up is the Hillsborough County Fair. It runs from October 30th through November 9th. The Hillsborough County Fair is packed with community fun, exciting competitions, and family-friendly entertainment. Enjoy thrilling rides, delicious fair food, live shows, and special events like the rodeo weekend, goat yoga, and interactive attractions celebrating local agriculture. So that is from the Hillsborough County Fair. And next we have the Pumpkin Patch, and that's coming out of Hyde Park Village. That runs from October 1st through the 31st. And there you can celebrate the season there at the Village Circle Pumpkin Patch. And you can pick the perfect pumpkin, snap photos and carriages, and enjoy special story times with Mother Boo. Next we have the Harvest Day, and that's from Keel Farms. Every weekend, in October, you get to spend your weekends at Keel Farms for Harvest Days. You get to sip and savor fall-inspired wines and ciders from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Activities include hay rides, a corn maze, camel rides, a pumpkin patch, and different local vendors, kid zones, and more. So that is all for Visit Tampa, coming from visittampabay.com, and that is just different events to tune in Tampa. So coming up in the next segment is Do You Need Them? But before we get back to that, it's time to take another break with some more great music. Again, you are listening to CMC Live on Hawk Radio Live, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. Now we are going to be talking about Do You Need Them? Okay, so family, family. The ups and downs, you can have a couple arguments here, a couple arguments there, but can you keep them in your circle if you want? As for me and my family, although it's huge, I love them. Some of them need to be cut off, and because of the unhealthy string that we both hold, or that we hold together, Parents.com provided information on managing toxic family relationships, when to let go, and managing harmful family relationships. Caroline, sorry if I messed this up, but Chirella talks about how toxic relations can cause chaos within your family. Sometimes it's a good idea to cut ties with certain family members She spoke of her childhood, and she mentioned that her father decided to cut ties with his mother and their grandmother and brother when she was young, and a lot of that led up to his decision. And although it wasn't easy, but it was their benefit for the family. So I feel like at times it is the best decision depending on what is at stake, and that although that it's not easy, if it's beneficial for both of you guys, I feel as though, one have to take the first step. So another option that you have is just to be patient with them. Sometimes family members, they do, how can I put this? They do get in the way of what you have going on in your own personal life. But if they see it as a way, if they see you as a way of getting out of their own head, talk to them. You can vent to them, but don't let them bring you chaos, And so she made a fact in the article, and it said that more than 1 in every 4 Americans, a total of 27% of people 18 or older, have cut off contact with a family member. And that is actually true, because I've had to cut off several family members because of their toxic ways. It's not necessarily what they do as far as action wise. I say that because most of them, like I have family members spread it out all across the United States. Honestly, I have a huge family, to the point where I'm pretty sure that I have family members that I don't even know. But what I was going to say is it's not necessarily based off of their actions, but it's just based off of how they present themselves. Like, you don't have to be exactly in front of me in order for me to see how you operate and how you function on a daily basis. So when you see how a person moves, when you see how a person acts, and again, they don't have to be in front of you, then you already know that decision on what you need to do in order to either step back or continue to be in their lives. So it's definitely a decision that you have to take upon yourself. And so she went on to say that a 2015 survey of American university students published in a Journal of Psychology and Behavioral Science showed that almost 44% experienced some type of family estrangement. In another study of moms between 65 and 75 years old, researchers found that 11% were estranged from at least one adult child. It's necessary to cut toxic relations off, especially when you've expressed concerns and nothing has changed. And so when she spoke on that, it just brought me back to the old saying, like, you are what you eat, and you are where you come from, and it all starts and begins at home. Like, whatever. I mean, I kind of turn it into my own perception, not so much of eat as in food, but you are what you consume around you. I truly believe that what's around you, when it comes to family and when it comes to friends, when it comes to habits, co-workers, close relatives, close friends, it doesn't matter. Like, what you consume, what you decide to digest in your own system, you will basically put out there. So it is definitely necessary to cut all that off. And another thing that was mentioned is, if a family member is not capable of controlling their negative interactions with you or your children after you have asked them to do so, it is clear that your children are not beneficial in some way from that relationship. So if you don't see that your child is beneficial to your brother, to your sister, to your aunt, to your cousin, it doesn't matter. You have to continue to put your child first and to cut those bad strings off. And if you constantly feel negative in their presence, or leave, just feeling drained or stressed or hurt, it's time to reevaluate. There's nothing wrong with reevaluating what's going on in your life and taking a step forward and saying, okay, I'm not doing this necessarily for the next person, but I'm doing it for me. And it's all about doing stuff for yourself. I also, and I'm not going to lie, I put myself behind people. You know, I'm not the type of person that puts myself before other people and how I feel. But when you start doing that, you see a difference in your health and you see a difference in how you operate. So again, if it's stressful, if it's not helping you, get out of it. Get out of it, and you need to live for you. And so that was my segment on do you need them? Remember, guys, put yourself first. And if you have kids, put your kids first. You do not need anything that is toxic. All right, sit tight, everyone. Coming up in the next segment, I will bring Spooky Tales Halloween. But before we get to that, it's time to take another break with some more great music. Stick around, everybody. That was Ain't No Mountain High Enough by the famous Diana Ross. Again, you are listening to CMC Live here on Hawk Live Radio at Hillsborough College. So coming up, we have Spooky Tales Halloween. So I just decided to do something different and just tell a little short, scary story since Halloween is actually tomorrow. So I just looked up some short stories, some scary stories, and I'm just going to read some out to you. And so the first one we're going to read is going to be called Last Night. Last night, a friend rushed me out of the house to catch the opening act at a local bar's music night. After a few drinks, I realized my phone wasn't in my pocket. I checked the table we were sitting at, the bar, the bathrooms, And after no luck, I used my friend's phone to call mine. After two rings, someone answered, gave out a low, raspy giggle, and hung up. They didn't answer again. I eventually gave it up as a lost cause and headed home. I found my phone laying on my nightstand right where I left it. So when I looked this up the first time and I read it, I was like, wait a minute. So the phone was sitting on the nightstand and it never was with her or him. So it was crazy when I read the story, and I was like, yeah, I definitely have to add this to the show lineup. So that was last night. And then the next one is called The Writing on the Wall by Early J. A young boy was laying in his bed when he heard footsteps outside his room. He peeked out of his eyes to see what it was. When he opened his door, he saw a murderer carrying corpses of his parents. After slightly propping them up on a chair, he wrote something on the wall in the blood of the dead bodies. He hid under the child's bed. The child got scared beyond belief. He couldn't read the writing on the wall, and he knew the man was under his bed. Like any child, he pretended that he slept through the whole thing and hadn't woken up yet. He lay there quietly, hearing the breathing from under his bed. An hour passed, and his eyes got adjusted to the darkness. He tried making out the words, but it was a struggle. He gasped when he finally read out the sentence, "I know you're awake." He read as he felt something shift underneath his bed. So that was The Writing on the Wall by Erling J. "I know you're awake," he read as he felt something shift underneath his bed. And so just by the first sentence, when he woke up and a murderer was carrying corpses of his parents, and after slightly propping them up on a chair, he wrote something on the wall in the blood of the dead bodies and then hid under his bed. Listen, when I read this, I was just like, okay, very interesting. But now, as I'm reading it, I'm just like, it's kind of creepy. It's kind of creepy. So it's pretty cool how people can just come up with this at one time, and so. From me to you, happy Halloween, everybody. Be safe and have fun. And although I won't be celebrating, just know I will keep up with the highlights of the night. Make sure that you guys are going out and keeping aware of your surroundings. So coming up in the next segment is my famous Vent 101. But before we get to that, you guys know what's coming up next. Some hot tunes. Again, you are listening to CMC Live on Hawk Radio Live, the official radio station for Hillsborough College here in Tampa, Florida. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. So every segment I try to do Vent 101, which I just go hardcore raw about how life is going so far. So to start off, I am sleepy. I am tired. I actually do CNA work, which is really not an easy job. It's very strenuous on your body. So shout out to everybody who is a CNA because you know exactly how I feel. Besides that, when it comes to school, I actually love school. School is actually one of my best distractions that I enjoy out of life. I wish that school was literally all year round, and it really keeps me going and motivating. And honestly, when I'm out of school, I mean, granted, I'll do homework here and there, but it definitely takes my mind off of life in that moment. And then when it comes to personal stuff, so I am in the process of looking for a car, and right now I do not have, I have choices, but I'm so used to cash cars. So when it comes to making payments on a car, I am not more so nervous. It's just finding the car that best suits you. And I'm a daddy's girl, so I always value his opinion. And so when the person was offering a Ford Fusion, I asked him, well, is this a good car? Should I go for it? And he was like, no. So I was like, okay, well, just on to the next. So tomorrow I am hoping and praying that I will walk out of the dealership with a car. I am very grateful for the money that I have been given, and I thank God for the strength that He's given me to continue to work for the car. And so I truly believe that tomorrow is definitely going to be an eye-opener for me when it comes to the car search. When it comes to just life in general, it's been a road. My relationship is very calm, very relaxing, nothing bad, nothing major. It's nothing toxic that I'm trying to run out of. We actually help each other out. I appreciate everything that has happened thus far. We're going on 6 months actually on the 1st of November. So I'm very excited for that. And my family, I'm very grateful for their support. So definitely when it comes to the car payment, I just think about, everything that's going on with the shutdown for EBT, and just not necessarily just EBT, but everything going on with the government. And my brother, he's actually in the Army. So I do feel really, really bad for him. So I'm grateful though that he's still able to get his finances and he's being helped, and I'm very grateful for that. So other than that, life is life, and I can truly say that it hasn't been down in the dumps hard. It's just having to find that right car for the right reasons. I actually got a car in June, but I got sold a lemon, and I had to give it up and start over. So this time I'm very lenient, and I'm very I wouldn't say second guess, but I'm definitely cautious about where I put my money in. So the good thing is, with some dealerships, they'll hook you up if anything was to happen to the car. So I'm grateful for that. Whereas, with a cash car, sometimes they say you have to buy it as is. So cars, what can you say? You need it to get around, but it is such a pain to get. And as far as for family, everything's good with family. Actually, I'm working for Thanksgiving, so I won't be with my family for Thanksgiving, but just to get the love and the support for my birthday. When my birthday came around, it was the 22nd of this month. It was definitely an honor to be around them and to hear them. So just make sure that the ones that you do keep in your circle, you always, try to give them grace and give them mercy. Like, I really did beat myself up a lot this time around because I was like, okay, well, why aren't they calling? Why aren't they texting? But I realized that it's not just all about what you're going through, it's more so of what the other person is going through. And it's not like, how can I put it? It's not like they're not thinking about you, like in some point in time, you have to understand and realize that they're not doing it on purpose. So I really I thank God for them. And when it comes to life, I have to say that life is where it needs to be. It's not timed. It's not rushed. It's just perfect, especially when you keep God in the forefront. So, guys, that has been my segment of Vent Run on One. And listen, as I said, just continue to keep yourself first. Don't forget yourself, because at the end of the day, you need yourself more than anything. And that will be the wrap up for the show today. And I thank you all for listening. I hope you enjoyed today and our time together. Again, you were listening to CMC Live from 11 to 12 noon. I'm bringing you a variety of topics, fun vibes, and highlights to your day. Next week, I will uncover some more topics, world trends, and more. Again, happy Halloween to everybody. You guys be safe, stay blessed, and I will see you soon.